How goes it, ladies and gentlemen? Today, we're going to be checking out that timeless classic. That classic. Let's go with that interesting piece of Sega history known as Altered Beast. Yeah, I don't think you would find many people that would call Altered Beast a timeless classic. However, it has enough going for it to be worth checking out, and especially if you're into, the history of Sega, certainly. This is a game that came out in 1988, as you could probably see from the title screen there. Originally released in the arcades, but the most well-known version is the Genesis/Megadrive version, which is what we're playing here. At its core, Altered Beast is basically just a side-scrolling brawler. Honestly, not a lot going for it. It is fairly slow, it's fairly simple, and it's fairly janky. But honestly, that kind of adds to its charm a little bit. Also, Onagai muscle, I guess. Now, the main gimmick, or you would call it gameplay mechanic, I suppose, the main draw of why you would play this game is because after collecting 3 of these power orbs, you become a beast. You might even say an altered beast. So each level, as you might imagine, has you going through the level, collecting enough of these orbs to power up, and then facing a boss. Now the bosses are very, I don't know, there's something about them that's very, very uncanny. Like, they're kind of silly looking. Like, if you just looked at this guy, right, he's kind of silly, but the way that he starts to sort of vibrate as you kill him, there's something really creepy and really uncanny about it. And it kind of adds to the game's charm. Also, I don't know why he's just throwing his face at you. I couldn't tell you. There you have it, level 1. It's not an incredibly long game, as you can probably tell from the, the video link. But it's got enough going for it, like I said, to keep it interesting. Now, the story of the game revolves around you, the hero, who is risen from your grave, hence the iconic line. You were resurrected by Zeus to rescue Athena, his daughter, of course, who has been kidnapped by the ruler of the underworld. And of course, this being based on Greek mythology, the ruler of the underworld is Neph. Now, I'm not an expert in Greek mythology, but I know enough to know that Neph is not the ruler of the underworld in Greek mythology, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but hey, it's fine, I guess. Now, I think a lot of the fun of this game nowadays comes from just the silliness of some of the designs. Like the weird lizard spheres, and the chicken, slug, lizard things that tail whip you. I don't know. Incidentally, they loved that design enough to carry it over into Golden Axe as well, which is pretty funny. And oh yeah, we're dragon now. Now, you'll notice that every time we get to a boss, he sort of stands there for a minute and does nothing. The reason is because the game is actually checking to see if you hit beast form. If you didn't get 3 of those power-up orbs, you have to loop through the level again. And you'll keep looping through it as many times as it takes for you to power up. However, you can always get... I'm sorry, the standing sprite for the dragon just looks hilarious. You can always get enough orbs to complete it in one cycle. Now, what's kind of funny is that the aesthetic of the game was actually inspired by a couple things that might surprise you, but once you see that, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. So one of the things this game was inspired by was actually the Thriller music video from Michael Jackson. And the other one was the movies of Ray Harryhausen. Now, if you don't know who he is, he did a lot of those old sort of horror or adventure movies where they used like claymation to do the monsters. So my favorite one is the Jason and the Argonauts movie. That was a good one. He also did Clash of the Titans, the original one, and it has a lot of those really iconic claymation monsters. Like, I'm thinking of the Hydra and the Skeleton battle from Jason and the Argonauts. That was a great one. And also Now We're a Bear. A kung fu bear who freezes people into stone. I don't know, roll with it. Yeah, a lot of the designs in this game are really strange. And I think nowadays, playing it, a lot of the the interest and the novelty comes from those designs. In fact, I remember playing through this co-op with somebody on one of those Sega collections, and we were just dying, like laughing the entire time. But it's not a negative. Like, I would consider it a positive, just how weird some of the designs are now. It makes it stand out. And if it didn't have that aspect, I don't think anyone would care about it today. Like, I wouldn't be doing a video on it if it didn't have all those weird designs. Speaking of playing this game on other systems, it has been ported many times. Back in the day, it actually had a version for the Master System, which I'm sure was horrible, although I haven't played it. And nowadays, it's been released on pretty much every platform because it's in every single Sega collection. So, like, I'm just looking at a list here. Sega Smash Pack, Sega Genesis Collection, Sega Ultimate Genesis Collection. It's on the Wii Virtual Console, it's on Xbox Live Arcade, PlayStation Network, even iOS and Android. So, if you want to play this, you can definitely find it somewhere. And I would recommend it. It's worth it, especially if you can play it in co-op. It's absolutely hilarious. Although, like I said, and like you can notice, it is a relatively short game. So now I'm a tiger. So that's cool. Now, as you might expect, the game was released to somewhat mixed reception. Although I think the graphically, although the sprites are somewhat impressive and that they're fairly large, they are a little bit odd, and some people latched onto that aspect of them. Of course, this was originally an arcade game, so it does a fairly good job of capturing the arcade experience. I believe I've played the arcade version before, but it's been a while. And of course, the little Rise from Your Grave ending and the Welcome to Your Doom became classic quotes that most people, I would say, know. And now Athena's been turned into a dove, I guess. Now, you know, it's kind of a shame. I'm sorry, I love the kickboxing goats. And I'm not even going to comment on what that is. In the actual arcade version of the game, they presented the story at the end as if it was actually like a play, where everyone was playing characters and, you know, they showed them taking off the costumes and stuff at the end, which I actually thought was pretty cool. They took that aspect out for the Genesis version and just kind of played it straight, which is a little bit of a shame. You know what else is a little bit of a shame is that we unfortunately just get the wolf again. They didn't create an entirely new altered beast for the final stage. And yes, this is the final stage. So here he is, Neff. He is a giant humanoid rhinoceros? Looks like something out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. Now you may notice that this boss takes me a long time to kill. That is because the only way that I found to do this reliably was to dash over his head and hit him one time, and repeat this ad nauseum. I've seen some footage of people that are really good at the game doing that over and over, where they actually dash through his head and hit him there, but the thing is you have to do that with like perfect timing, because although this looks very easy right now, I assure you it is not. And if you get anywhere near him, he will pretty much instantly kill you. You gotta love the old school video game convention of enemies changing color as they take damage though, right? And he apparently turns into a pink rhinoceros as we do that. So there you go. Anyways, that is more or less everything about Altered Beast. Actually, there's one other thing. The game did get a couple sequels, neither of which I have played. One was apparently on the Game Boy Advance, which is kind of odd. And it apparently is similar. I've actually never seen this one even. I've never seen footage of it. But it plays similarly. The other one was on the PS2, and that one was a 3D beat-em-up style game, which apparently was terrible. You know the ones, right? Those like mid-2000s era PS2 brawlers that were just super generic and boring. Yeah, it was one of those, unfortunately. So it seems highly unlikely that we'll ever get any more games in the series, but honestly, I think that's kind of fine. It is what it is. It's an interesting piece of Sega history, amusing enough on its own, and I would definitely recommend picking it up and playing it in co-op. You'll play it, you'll enjoy it, you'll be done with it, and oh, look at that, we rescued Athena. I'm going to raise a concern here, though. Why am I still a wolf? I don't like where this is... Yeah, anyways. Anyways, that was Altered Beast. Let's do a little celebratory dance here. You can beat up the credits or get beat up by the credits. And fun times. When you finish the game, it will actually say, click here to begin the next journey. And we are not going to be doing that. Spoiler alert. So, yeah. Altered Beast. Check it out. It's available pretty much every platform. Hope you enjoyed the playthrough. And stay tuned for next week, where I will be uploading a long play version, so all the way through, no commentary, if that interests you. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. And like I said, we are not going to be pushing any key. Till next time, everybody.